Welcome back to Excel HQ, everyone, and welcome to the start of the finance series, where over the course of about 10 videos, I'll be going over popular financial functions in Excel and some financial concepts. Today, we are starting off with the functions PV, FV, rate, NPER, and PMT, which are all functions related to the time value of money. Now let's get into it. Our first function here is going to be equals PV, and if you understand the present value function, you're going to be able to understand all the other functions a lot better as well. So type in equals PV to get our present value, and it's going to start off by asking us for our rate. What is our discount rate that we're going to find our present value at? It's going to be 10% for all our examples, just to keep it simple. And then it wants to know how many periods is it going to be across, which is our NPER. It's going to be across 10 time periods. Now remember, if you're working with a problem that says it's semi-annual or quarterly, you still have to adjust these interest rates and time periods. So if it's quarterly, you're going to have to make this time period 40 by timesing it by 4, and then you're going to have to make this interest rate 2.5 by dividing it by 4 in the actual formula. Or you could have another prompt down here and then fill it in and then have it relate to that one as well. But for now, we're just going to keep it at an annual interest rate the whole time. Now for payment, we're going to cover payment when we cover FE, but basically this is like if you had $5, if you're receiving $5 every time period, then they'd have to discount back those $5 to help determine what the present value was. And if you did have payments, it would make the present value even more money because you'd have to put out more money at the very beginning because you'd be receiving more money over the 10-year time period than you would if you didn't have any payments at all. We're just going to keep that blank for now. But now we need our future value. Say, all right, in 10 years from now, I want to achieve $200. How much would I need to invest right now at 10%? And then our last prompt is type, which is end of the period and beginning of the period. And this relates to our payment. So if we receive $5 payments, does it start right away as soon as I purchase the underlying asset, the fixed asset? Or does it start at the end of the first period? The default is 0, which is end of the period, which we're going to leave it at. Unless you're dealing with some kind of annuities, it's never going to be 1 usually. Very rare that it would be. So we're just going to end our bracket there. And our present value is going to be 77.11. And the reason why it's negative is because it's recognizing it as a cash outflow, because 10 years down the line, we're going to be receiving a cash inflow of $200. Now, how does this actually work? Well, over our time, 1 to 10 years, we're going to have our interest rate of 10%. So you can easily calculate what the discount rate is going to be by doing equals 1.1, and then that's going to go to the power of whatever our time period is. So 1 right there. So it's just going to stay 1.1 for the first year. If I drag this all the way along here, it's going to find out what the discount period is all the way to 10 years here. And since I have no payments, these don't really matter. All I'm looking for is a 2.59. So coincidentally enough, if I did equals 200 and I divided that by 2.59, I would also get 77.11. Just my other value here is rounded. And that's basically how it works. So now if I went to my future value function and I did equals FE, and then I open up that bracket, once again, 10% for 10 years. And then we're going to start off with no payment. And then my present value, I'm just going to click on my negative 77 here. It's important that your present value is negative because then it's going to calculate your future value as positive. If your present value is positive, then your future value is going to be negative and it's going to be off probably. So now I'm going to close my bracket here and then I'm going to receive $200. So what happens in this scenario instead? Well, instead of taking our $77 and discounting it back all the time, we were actually multiplying it by this multiple because this is the compounding interest factor here. Because it's right here, it's doing 1.1 times 1.1, and that's 1.21. 1.21 times 1.1, 1.33. It's just the compounding factor. So if I actually take the 77 here, which is our present value, and then I times it by our multiple at 10, which is 2.59, we will get our future value of 200. And that's basically how it works. It's pretty cool. But say for payment now, I wanted to add a payment into my future value. Let's say I added $5 per payment. My future value is now going to be less because I'm still only paying $77. If I had my present value change instead of my future value change, my present value would go up, but in this case, my future value just goes down. So what I can do is I can also add a $5 payment over this whole period. So if I put $5 on top and say at the very end, I'm going to receive my face value of $120, I'm actually going to add that onto this. So I'm going to go equals my $120 plus that $5 payment, that last initial payment. And what actually happens in the calculation for the present value is it takes every single one of these numbers and it discounts it back by its appropriate period. So now these other periods come into hand when you have payments, because $5 discounted back at 10%, that's only 4.5 here. And if I go down all the way, I'll receive smaller and smaller payments until it does my initial face value payment 2. And if I sum up this entire row here, what will I get? I will get an error. But if I do it properly, I will get 77.1087, which, as you can see, is our present value there. It's very straightforward once you get the hang of it. Now to calculate our rate function, very easy again. You do equals rate, your time period, your payments. Let's just keep it at 5. Our present value, I'm going to make that a negative. Make sure I keep that a negative. And then I'll go, or it doesn't need to be a negative if the number is already negative. So I'm just going to put in a present value here. Our future value, I'll just put it down here. Our type, we went over that. And then guess. So depending on what kind of calculation it is, if you have payments particularly, you need to provide a guess to help Excel find the number. Because if you don't provide a guess, it's just trial and error. And depending on what your numbers are, it could take a while. So the default guess is actually 10%, which is a fine default guess. I'm just going to leave it at that. However, algebraically, if you have payments, it cannot find out payments here. It cannot find out what your discount rate is going to be without trial and error, which means you can't even do it algebraically. If you don't have any payments though, you could actually do this algebraically on, if you just simplify the formula. However, you just need to provide a guess sometimes. Our rate, there it is, it's going to be 10%. It's going to line up perfectly with everything. And then once again, to find out our time period, all right, if I can invest at a 10% interest rate and I want $5 a year, and I want to give out $77.1 for some reason initially. And at the end of my period, I want to receive $120. I have a very specific investment. I need these very specific numbers over time. How many years am I going to have to invest with? Oh, I'm going to have to invest for 10 time periods. All right. And then our last one, payment, we kind of already went through that, but we could actually find what our payment needs to be. So once again, it's just easy to understand what you're thinking of as you walk through the formula. So, okay, I need to invest at a 10% rate. I'm going to invest over 10 years. I'm going to initially give out $77. And at the very end, I want $120. Well, in order to achieve this, because just at 10% and $10 with $77 out, I don't automatically get $120. I have to get something over time or else my future value would be higher. What am I getting over time? I'm getting $5 a period over time. And that is how the time value of money works in Excel. I really hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be putting out much more finance series in the future. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment down below if there's anything else you would like to see in the future.